7 Wonders of the Ancient World. The 7 Wonders of the Ancient World are extraordinary works of art and architecture that demonstrate human creativity, inspiration, and pure hard labor. They are also reminders of humanity's ability to dispute, destroy, and possibly embellish. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Today, we are going to talk about the 7 Wonders of the Ancient World. Before we get started with the video, don't forget to smash the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started. Number 7. The Lighthouse of Alexandria. The Alexandria Lighthouse was built on Pharos, a small island near Alexandria. The lighthouse, designed by Greek architect Sostratos and built in 270 BC under the reign of Ptolemy II, assisted in guiding Nile River ships into and out of the city's busy harbor. Archaeologists discovered ancient coins depicting the lighthouse and concluded that the construction had 3 tiers, a square level at the bottom, an octagonal level in the middle, and a cylindrical top. Above that stood a 16-foot statue, most likely of Ptolemy II or Alexander the Great, after whom the city was named. Number 6. Colossus of Rhodes. The Rhodians erected the Colossus of Rhodes, a huge bronze monument to the sun god Helios, over a 12-year period in the 3rd century BCE. The city was the object of a Macedonian siege early in the 4th century BC, and tradition has it that the Rhodians sold the tools and equipment left behind by the Macedonians to pay for the Colossus. The statue, designed by the artist Chares, was the highest in the ancient world, standing at 100 feet. It was completed in 280 BC and stood for 60 years until collapsing in an earthquake. It was never reconstructed. Hundreds of years later, Arabs stormed Rhodes and sold the statue's remains for scrap metal. As a result, archaeologists know very little about the statue's specific location or appearance. Most believe it showed the sun deity standing naked, holding a torch in one hand and a spear in the other. It was long thought that the statue stood with one leg on either side of a bay, but most academics now believe that the statue's legs were erected close together to sustain its massive weight. Number 5. Mausoleum at Halicarnassus. The Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, located in what is now southeastern Turkey, was a monument built by Artemisia for her husband Mausolus, king of Carnia in Asia Minor, who died in 353 BC. Mausolus was also Artemisia's brother, and according to mythology, she was so devastated by his death that she combined his ashes with water and drank them while also ordering the mausoleum's construction. The huge mausoleum was built entirely of white marble and is supposed to have stood roughly 135 feet tall. The building's intricate design, which consists of 3 rectangular sections, could have been an attempt to combine Lycian, Greek, and Egyptian architectural styles. The first phase consisted of a 60-foot base of steps, followed by a middle layer of 36 Ionic columns and a stepped pyramid-shaped roof. At the very top of the roof was the tomb, which was embellished by 4 artists and featured a 20-foot marble representation of a 4-horse chariot. Number 4. Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. There was more than one Temple of Artemis. In Ephesus, a Greek port city on Turkey's west coast, a number of altars and temples were demolished and then rebuilt on the same spot. The most impressive of these constructions were 2 marble temples, constructed approximately 550 and 350 BC, respectively. Apart from Olympus, the sun never looked at anything so grand, said Antipater of Sidon about Ephesus's Temple of Artemis. The original Temple of Artemis was created by Cretan architect Chersiphron and his son Metagenes, and it was embellished by some of the most famous ancient artisans. According to mythology, the building burned down on July 21, 356 BC, the night Alexander the Great was born. It was set on fire by a Greek citizen named Herostratus, who said he did it to immortalize his name in history. He was executed, and the authorities proclaimed it unlawful to mention his name. Number 3. Statue of Zeus at Olympia. The famous statue of Zeus, the king of the gods in Greek mythology, was created by the Athenian sculptor Phidias and installed in the temple of Zeus at Olympia, the site of the ancient Olympics, in the mid-5th century BC. The statue represented the god of thunder, sitting bare-chested on a wooden throne. The armrests of the thrones were held up by two carved sphinxes, mythical animals with a woman's head and chest, a lion's body, and bird-like wings. The figure of Zeus was lavishly adorned with gold and ivory. It stood 40 feet tall, and its head almost touched the top of the temple. According to tradition, after constructing the statue, the sculptor Phidias begged Zeus for his approval, and the temple was damaged by lightning shortly after. The Zeus statue adorned the temple at Olympia for about 8 centuries before Christian monks convinced the Roman emperor to close it in the 4th century AD. At that time, the statue was relocated to a temple in Constantinople, where it is thought to have been destroyed in a fire in 462. Number 2. Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar. 2. The Babylonian king erected the Hanging Gardens of Babylon near the Euphrates River in modern-day Iraq, circa 600 BCE. The gardens were believed to be planted up to 75 feet in the air on a massive square brick terrace built out in steps similar to a theater. The king reputedly created the towering gardens to alleviate his lover Amidas's longing for the natural beauty of her home in Media, northwest Iran. Later, writers reported how people could walk underneath the lovely gardens, which were supported by tall stone columns. Modern experts have concluded that, in order for the gardens to thrive, they would have needed to be watered using a system consisting of a pump, water wheel, and cisterns that carried water from the Euphrates several feet into the air. Though there are numerous tales of the gardens in both Greek and Roman literature, none of them are authentic, and no mention of the gardens can be found in Babylonian cuneiform texts. Number 1. The Great Pyramid of Giza, Egypt. The Great Pyramid of Giza, located on the west bank of the Nile River north of Cairo, Egypt, is the only ancient wonder that has survived to the present day. It is one of 3 pyramids, along with Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura, that were built as royal tombs between 2700 and 2500 BC. The tallest and most spectacular is Khufu, often known as the Great Pyramid, which spans 13 acres and is thought to contain approximately 2 million stone pieces weighing between 2 and 30 tons each. For about 4,000 years, Khufu was the tallest edifice in the world. In fact, it took contemporary humans until the 19th century to construct a taller edifice. Scientists believe the Egyptians employed log rollers and sledges to transport the stones into position. The sloped walls, designed to represent Ra's rays, were first created as steps and subsequently filled in with limestone. The interior of the pyramids had narrow passages and concealed chambers in a futile attempt to deter grave thieves. That's the end of the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.